This original WSRE presentation is made possible by viewers like you. Thank you.
Okaloosa County, home to nearly 180,000 people, a growing political and economic force on the Gulf Coast. 2010 has seen some of the worst of times and some very good times. We're here tonight with a few of the people who make the county work. Good evening, I'm Lloyd Patterson. This is CTC Connecting the Community. Tonight's focus on Blackwater County. That's the Choctaw Indian word, Okaloosa. With us tonight, Wayne Harris, Chairman of the Okaloosa County Commission, a 27-year veteran of the Air Force, serves as Executive Director of the Crestview Chamber of Commerce as well. Dr. Alexis Tibbetts is Okaloosa County Superintendent of Schools, a 30-plus-year veteran of the classroom and administration postings. She oversees a district that is always listed among Florida's best. Colin Lipnicki is the editor of the Northwest Florida Daily News, a post he took over 2 years ago after 10 years as managing editor and 3 years as a reporter for the paper. And Elliot Campert is Okaloosa County's Growth Management Director and has 20-plus years in the field at various posts around Florida. He grew up in an Air Force family, so he's used to moving around. Thank you all for being here. Focus tonight, Okaloosa County. Has anyone ever calculated how many people from Okaloosa County have actually grown up there, and how many people have moved in because of the Air Force? I mean, it's everybody's from someplace else in Okaloosa County.
Just about. As a funny phenomenon is the board of directors for the chamber that I work for, 95% is from somewhere else, and just a few are from Okaloosa County, if you will, and grew up in Crestview.
I'm from Okaloosa County.
Yeah.
Okay, well, one of the few. What we want to talk about tonight on this program is Okaloosa County. That's been what kind of year it's been, and then a little later what you see as we get ready to get into 2011. Can you believe we're talking, it's almost 2011? What happened? The big feature, the sort of defining issue, I guess you might say, for 2010, for the whole Gulf Coast and Okaloosa County, the oil spill. Wayne Harris, take us through that. How do you see the situation in the county a few months afterwards?
Let's go back to the few months, or the period of time during, if you will, from the oil spill. As I said earlier, we were programmed to have a phenomenal year tourist-wise. All the numbers and all the indications were that we were going to do great, and then we all know what happened there. And before I do that, though, I want to digress a little bit. I want to give credits to our public safety director, Dino Villani, and his staff, because he brought us through something by the plan of taking what was common sense planning through this process. We had a plan within 2 weeks, our own plan for the county within 2 weeks after the oil spill. Nobody else had that from Louisiana all the way over. I was real proud of him and his staff and the few folks that he put together a committee of stakeholders from the whole area of Destin, to include the education and everything else, to put together a plan for keeping away the oil. One of the things that hurt us was not the oil. We were very blessed by not having oil on our beaches. We had a little bit, a few spots here, a few spots there, a little bit of sheen occasionally. The biggest thing was the press, the nationwide press was what they saw in Louisiana and Mississippi, they assumed was in Okaloosa County and Destin, Fort Walton Beach area, and it wasn't.
And we were just taking some pictures at Okaloosa County, and the beach looks fantastic. And you'd think that nothing ever happened there in terms of oil, because nothing ever happened there in terms of oil. Elliot Campert, how much impact did that spill have on what you do as the growth management person for the county?
Well, one of the things that I get to do in my capacity with Okaloosa County is we work with the transit program, and we saw basically increases in all of our transit routes except for the routes that are dedicated to our tourism area, which is the beaches. We saw declines in every single route that served that area. And when you realize that the transit provides not only provides for people coming to spend money at the beach, but also the people that serve those people, the people who wait in the restaurants and clean the hotel rooms. It has a ripple effect throughout the community. And as soon as people started canceling their hotel reservations and stopped going to the restaurants because of the perception of oily beaches, there was a ripple effect throughout the entire economy. And also, even on the other end of what I do, the building permits and things like that, we also saw dips in activity and permitting. And it sort of spread throughout the county, because when things are as tenuous as they've been economically, when one system starts to go down, you start to feel it everywhere. So we absolutely saw it.
Colin Lipnicki at the Northwest Florida Daily News, that must have been a tremendous, I guess, boost in your readership anyway, online.
Definitely online. Yes, we had, I think, 8 million page views one of the months in the midst of the oil spill, which was about 3 million more than we typically average. So people from all over the South were looking to see what the conditions were like.
One of the complaints of many of the officials in Northwest Florida was that the media had given the nation and the world the impression that there was oil slopping up all over the beaches here, which we of course know wasn't true. Do you feel like you played a role in that, or how do you see the way the national media played the oil spill here?
Well, I think that anytime there's any kind of a big event anywhere, usually it's a weather-related event, you watch the footage on the national news and you feel like that entire area is impacted, and then you call somebody there and they haven't even felt anything. It's just the nature of covering something on a scale like that. But on the local level, we tried our best to be very accurate and to portray things as they were. We didn't try to sugarcoat anything, but at the same time, we certainly didn't sensationalize anything.
Alexis Tibbetts, you run the school system for Okaloosa County. What impact how did the oil spill that didn't happen to you, that still had some impact on you, didn't it?
Actually, 7 districts in the state have been identified as potential oil spill impact counties. The 7 counties are working together in a coalition. We have not filed a claim against BP, but we are definitely working toward having some type of remuneration in terms of the school districts are only funded by sales tax or property tax, and as you know, in the state of Florida, that's our funding formula, and sales tax is hurt by many of the things that Wayne mentioned. Whenever tourism is your #1 industry next to the military, it's going to be hurt when people aren't coming and spending money at restaurants and local businesses. The other part is your sales, your property tax. Determining the valuation of your property is really difficult to say based on the oil spill, but 2 positive things, and I think, Lord, we always have to look for some kind of silver lining. I think we've really beefed up our environmental education programs in our schools. We've seized this opportunity to let the students understand how important it is they go into careers such as this. And the other topic, and I was with Senator Gates not once but twice today, that we've been talking about, is we need to diversify our economy somewhat. We love the fact that we have great beaches, as you've been showing pictures of them, and our fishing industry is wonderful. But we also, and of course our military bases go on unaffected pretty well, but we do need to look at some other areas that might even include research into environmental areas. And actually, Lloyd, the impact environmentally of this will not be felt for possibly 15 years. We're going to have to really monitor our marine life, our water quality, our air quality. And I'm a biology and chemistry teacher, as you know, at heart, and it's something that we've looked for a moment to teach our children that the impact of this is far-reaching.
Have you seen more kids want to get into the field of environmental, marine life because of what's happened in their backyard?
Absolutely, Lloyd. You are so smart to see that. Our Nagisa project has taken off. The kids are in London right now doing some comparative studies with waterways across the world. Even our little students at Destin Elementary down at Joe's Bayou, more students than ever are signing up for our environmental courses. So that's a good thing, because that's what America needs. Okay, we want to talk about in just a few minutes. We want to talk about the military and diversifying, but let's talk a little bit about one of the other aspects that's so important to an area's economy, and that's what's going on with building, the construction industry, homes for sale on the market. As you look around the county in this year, what kind of year
Elliot, has it been for the home, the builders, the people selling homes, moving in? What's going on there?
Well, I think, I want to start by saying that towards the end of this year, we've been getting some anecdotal evidence, and I'm going to knock on wood. I don't want to jinx anything, but it looks like we're seeing upticks in certain sectors of it. We're seeing some people coming in. Looks like they found markets they can build in for new home starts. Last week we had a dozen single-family home permits come in 1 week, which is better than we've done for a while. But overall, 2010 looked a lot like 2009. My budget directly reflects what the economy does because I'm an enterprise fund, which means that I'm fee supported, or I try to be fee supported from my permit sales. And we're a little better off than we were this time last year. So we think things are starting to tick up. We're hoping that with the influx of personnel from the base realignment and closures, that we're going to start seeing this trend continue. So hopefully we'll get back on our feet. And just anecdotally, talking to the developers and the builders in our community, they're starting to see some hopeful signs as well. So we're feeling guardedly optimistic about it.
So you had about a dozen permits for home building come in a 1 week, and that sounds encouraging. But in recent years, they've been putting up homes by the hundreds and thousands
yes.
in Okaloosa County, haven't they?
Yes, and in fact, that's been one of the things that's hampered the recovery of the actual construction industry. Is we have a large standing inventory of available buildings. You have to wait till that starts to sell down a little bit before you can really get back into the construction business, and we're waiting for that to happen.
We took a drive down 98 to Mary Esther, and there was a little bit of construction that we saw as we drove right there along the beach. And I'm sure that you have quite a few condos and other properties for sale. Wayne Harris, what are you hearing about the sales, the market in that sense?
Like Elliot said, I've seen an uptick in things. I've also seen an uptick in some areas, especially in the North County, on commercial properties and commercial businesses looking at doing some things here. And that will drive, as Alexis said earlier, we got to diversify our economy a little bit. We're working with the Economic Development Council on ways to do that. You can't put all your eggs in one basket, but I know it's a lot of commercial properties now. We got a new Walmart going in Niceville, a huge Walmart going down there. I think what you're going to see is a lot more businesses looking at, because of BRAC, because of the growth potential that we have with FAMU coming into the Crestview area and a few other things. I think what you're going to see is the economy will drive the development of houses. If people have jobs and if there are more jobs available, the housing market will start increasing again. And I know it will start increasing as far as Alexis is concerned. If there's more jobs, more people, that means she can fill her classrooms.
Colin, is that reflected in your newspapers reporting this anecdotal evidence that people are seeing?
Well, I think so. I think it's very, very gradual, and it's just going to take time. But I think that there are definitely positive signs.
Okay, the Eglin Air Force Base, you can't hardly talk about Okaloosa County without talking about Eglin. And let's show I want to show this a graphic that we took, and I think you can see it here. That big green blob is Eglin Air Force Base, and you see that it takes a big chunk out of Walton and some out of Santa Rosa counties too, but it is really the monster of Okaloosa County. And I don't mean a
don't be
bad,
negative about that.
No, I don't mean a
green
bad
is
monster.
the right color for that. Okay, that's $7 billion a year in economic impact.
That really sort of defines the whole county, but it also protects you, doesn't it, from economic downturns, from oil spills?
It's our foundation. It's our mattress in a bad economy. It's when everybody else's economy goes all the way down, Eglin is still there. And as you saw, that around here, there's a lot of military people that live in our community, so they depend on Eglin Air Force Base. So as the economy goes down, that buffer is still there for us, and thank God for that.
You talked a bit about diversifying, but don't other counties around Florida, doesn't everybody wish they had that kind of deal with a great big federal employer right in the heart of their county?
I was fortunate to be able to be in Tampa a couple of weeks ago for a planning conference, and a lot of peers and stuff from around the state. That was the one uniform comment was, we wish we had that. We wish we had BRAC. You've got a nice problem to have, Okaloosa County, because you do have growth continuing. Everything else is very flat across the state. So yes, we're very fortunate to have Eglin.
And you have two, not only is Eglin Air Force Base holding its own, you're getting the F-35, which is going to bring in many, many jobs, and the Army is bringing in a big operation too. What impact is that going to have as you look forward into the next coming years?
Well, students, it will have a great impact because we were actually in declining enrollment like most of the state of Florida a year or two ago. We are going to experience the growth of probably about 2,300 students over the next 2 years, and that's
Wow.
exciting. Of course, on that big green blob, you have to realize a lot of that are the ranges at Eglin. People don't live, in fact, they've torn down 900 homes at Eglin. We're going to be excited about them building some homes back, Lloyd, hopefully in a couple of years on the Air Force Base itself to feed those schools. Niceville has seriously declined, and so has Fort Walton. We are very proud of our 2 new schools up in Crestview, but we're hoping that all of these new people don't move to the north end of the county, even though I know they're building a lot of new homes up there, but I think they're tracking to build 1,200 new homes in Niceville. That's what I read in the newspaper recently, Colin. And I think people are going to spread out all over Okaloosa County, but of course not on the big green area that everyone just saw. So it's going to be a good thing for us economically and educationally. We're excited about the 7th Special Forces.
Wayne Harris, you're a North End guy in Okaloosa County. Aren't most of those people that you're looking for coming in for the Air Force and the Army, aren't you going to put them up around Crestview?
Well, I chaired the Eglin Growth Management Project. I was the chair for the executive committee of that, and the study, a year-long study, Elliot, took into effect everything and how it affects BRAC affects the county in every perspective, and our best knowledge on this is that about 70 to 75% will go to the North County, and it'll disperse out from there. But you know, we can sit here and throw darts at this and come up with all kinds of numbers until these folks get here and they pick where they're going to go. That's what we'll know. But best guess right now is that it's going to be about 70, 75%. I would be willing to bet that 7 Special Forces, which is just 3 miles south of Crestview, a majority of those folks are going to go, and that's 3,500 military or 2,500 military, and then 3.5 people per family. Eglin, I believe the price point of homes is right for a lot of these folks because of their rank structures and because of what they can afford to pay. I believe the predominant will be the Crestview area or the North County area. But people like the beaches and like to go to other places. They'll go where they want to buy a house.
Right. And Elliot, didn't you say that you are planning, the growth management plan calls for channeling these people actually up north of, Alexis Tibbetts may need the kids in Fort Walton Beach, but the families are going to be north of that, aren't they?
Well, our plan didn't so much channeling. What we did is, as Commissioner Harris mentioned, we looked at 9 different aspects of the community to see, where would be the likely growth areas to occur. And the study wasn't so much to try to pack these people in or direct them any place in particular, but to try to determine where, based on a combination of quality education, where the shopping is, where the amenities of life are, where health care is, where housing is availability, within a certain radius of the base for drive times, for commutes for the service personnel. We tried to identify the likely growth areas. And in Okaloosa County, and this was a tri-county study, looked at Santa Rosa and Walton as well, but Okaloosa we know is going to feel the brunt of the impacts coming in. And so we were trying to say, okay, where do we need to plan for our infrastructure? Where do we need to anticipate this growth to go? Based on, as I said earlier, all these individual factors ranging from education to transportation. And as the Commissioner said, Crestview looks to receive somewhere around 70% of the incoming personnel. And so what the study tells us is when we're looking at having to provide land use, density, intensity, where we're going to see housing, where we need to start investing in water and sewer infrastructure, potable water supplies, those are the areas that we can now rationally plan for and say, okay, we're going to see these people coming in. We know what we need to do to accommodate them.
So does this plan anticipate that Fort Walton Beach, that metro area in the south, will continue to stay about where it is, and the schools are going to kind of remain flat or perhaps shrink some, and then the schools at the north end of the county and the businesses are going to really grow?
Well, the study did anticipate mild increases in the Niceville area and the Fort Walton area. Basically showed that for the upper end of the rank structure, particularly in the Niceville area, that we would see people moving in there. And certainly as the advanced teams have come in from the 7 Special Forces, I think all of them have located in the Niceville area, as a matter of fact. So, the study seems to be holding true so far. I mean, what it anticipated is what we're seeing. And so we do expect to see some mild increases of families in both the Fort Walton and the Niceville areas, but the majority will go to Crestview.
Now, the Air Force is going to be sending in one group. The Army is going to be sending in another group into Okaloosa County. Are they roughly the same status in the federal? What's the system? The civil service system or the military ranking? Are they going to be the same kind of people?
Are they rank structure?
Yeah, rank structure. Yeah.
I would say pretty much the same. I think you're not going to have you're not going to have any general officers, and you're only going to have a sprinkling of colonels, if you will, or 06s in leadership positions. You're not going to have a large. Most of them are going to be field grade or less officers. That's majors and captains, probably in both of the environments. Most of the instructors are going to be in that rank. Mm-hmm. The difference, though, is it's really funny. But on the 7 Special Forces, they do a very unique job, and they're paid a little differently because they're in they're gone 300 days out of the year, by the way, and they're paid for a lot of hazardous duty and a lot of different language requirements and a lot of different other technical requirements. So they're going to get a little bit more, but the rank structures are going to be pretty similar, I would think, because the F-35 is a new weapon system that they're going to require. You're not going to have a lot of young airmen working on this because they don't have the skill level to work on this. They're going to take people that worked on the F-15 and maybe the F-22 and a few of the other weapon systems, and they're going to have to use that technical expertise. The officers are going to be pilots, and they're going to have the experience, so they're going to be a little bit more seasoned than just a brand new captain out of pilot upgrade training.
And Lloyd, a lot of those people that come for training in the F-35 aren't necessarily going to come here from America. They have 5 joint countries right now, so there will be an influx of officers, officer aviators from all over the world, and the maintainers would be senior enlisted people, as Wayne mentioned, and certainly in the special forces, a lot of the men in those special operations are enlisted, but they do have a different rank and pay structure, and that'll be very interesting for us because we've normally dealt with the Air Force, and now we're going to be dealing with the Army, and we're excited about that.
We talked some about the perception of Okaloosa County and the north and the south end, and how the county's really kind of divided by that. But looking at it, the picture of Northwest Florida, what I think a lot of people have seen over recent years is that a lot of the economy and the political leadership has sort of shifted to Okaloosa County. The senators are from Okaloosa County. We have it seems like the area of influence has more and more moved your way. Is that the way you've seen it, Colin, at the newspaper?
Well, yeah, absolutely. There's the power structure in Tallahassee now. There's definitely a bigger Northwest Florida presence and Okaloosa County presence than ever before.
But is Okaloosa, do you see it coming to the point where it's going to be in a certain amount of time, as you look into your crystal ball into the future, that Okaloosa County is going to surpass Escambia County as the sort of the heart of Northwest Florida? Is that possible?
Well, I don't know if we'll pass them in size, but I think maybe in influence we will.
Okay.
And I'm not so sure with the number of increases that we're anticipating in Okaloosa County with respect to the 7 Special Forces, with respect to the Joint Strike Fighter, and also with what I told you earlier about FAMU building the upper level dental nursing and pharmacy school that might not bring in. I know that there's a medical school. Darrell Peden is a great asset to us. He's going out this year, but bringing in FAMU to the old Alatex building is going to be a significant impact.
How many people are you talking about there?
Well, the student-wise, I believe the population is going to be around 200 in a year's period of time, or 2 years. Educators, I think it's somewhere in the 90 to 100 people. But remember, when we have that, that's going to bring a lot of other things in. That's going to be building the upper level schools are going to have to require somebody to be living there full time. They're not going to be able to be like there's not going to be a campus or anything. So there's going to be they're going to have to buy houses or rent apartments, and there's a lot of apartment complexes being built.
And you're talking about fairly intensive programs where the students are going to have to be. It's not going to be a part-time thing. I wouldn't think.
No, it's going to be full time. And then, like I told you earlier, there's an osteopathic school that is already looking, a private osteopathic school of looking in the Crestview area. I've already picked out property. That's going to be a phenomenal asset to us. All the colleges are going to start looking at doing things. As soon as that announcement was made with FAMU, all of the local colleges start looking for campuses. In fact, they are now occupying Southside Elementary School. Is that Troy State or Troy University is?
So as you look ahead, we're down to our last couple of minutes. As you look ahead, things are really, you're in an enviable situation in the state of Florida, aren't you?
I think our future looks very bright, Lloyd. I think we're very excited about what's going to happen in Okaloosa County, not just in the school district, but certainly in the business world and the media and the county. It's going to be great.
Elliot?
I have to agree with that. I think things are looking up. There's a lot of good things coming, a lot of good things going on, and hopefully, this time next year we'll be sitting back going, "Oh, we did it. Things are looking good."
Colin?
Well, I can honestly say there's nowhere else in Florida I'd rather be.
I'll take a vote on that one too. I chose to live here like a lot of other people have, so yeah.
As we pull out of here this evening, I want to show, we had one last picture I wanted to make sure we showed because it's such a striking difference. The Holiday Isle, one of the premier Destin areas, was they were losing so much of the beach, and you see that's a before picture. They were right up underneath the building. The water was lapping up there.
On jetties, kind of.
Yeah, and then as you look at the after picture, what a huge difference. You see you've got some real beach there, and it's got to be a great asset for
Connie, and the folks are very proud of that. We worked diligently to get that done, and they're happy with it.
Well, Wayne Harris, County Commission, thank you for being with us. Colin Lipnicki from the Northwest Florida Daily News, a really good quality paper. Dr. Tibbetts from the school district, thank you for being here. And Elliot Kemper, doing all the planning and making sure everything works together. We appreciate your participation in this program, and we thank you for watching WSRE, PBS for the Gulf Coast. I'm Lloyd Patterson. Good evening. Okay, we're just...